Hello everyone. Today we talk about basic programming. So this is our lecture one. I am MD Labib. So let's move on our topic. So this is our topic. Let's move on our next slide. Concept of programming. So what is programming? So programming is the process of designing and writing instructions that a computer can follow to perform a task. A computer cannot think on its own. It only follows instructions. Programming is how we give those instructions. So what are the steps in programming? So there are mainly five steps in programming. First, problem understanding. So firstly, we should find the problem and understand the problem. So what do you want the computer to do? Then planning. Planning means a step-by-step solution. It means algorithm. Then we should write the code, means coding, writing instructions in a programming language. And then we test it and find the bug. Find the bug means you should resolve the bug, means debugging. It means you should testing and debugging, finding and fixing the errors, execution. Finally, we execute the code, means running the program to get results. Example, if you want to calculate the sum of two numbers, so we take three steps like take two numbers, then add them and show the result. That's the programming logic. So, programming language is a formal language used to write instructions for computers. Like example, Python is the high-level language, Java is also a high-level language, C is a mid-level language, and each language has its own rules, like syntax, and is used for different purposes. So, what is coding? So coding means writing instructions using a programming language. So programming means full process, planning, coding, and testing. And coding means just writing the code. So different generations of programming language. So there are five types of generation. Like first generation began 1945. The first generation programming language is machine language, and our second generation programming language is assembly language, which started in 1950. Our third generation programming language is high level programming language, which started in 1960, and fourth generation programming language is very high level language, and fifth generation means AI and logic based language. So types of programming language. So mainly computer programming language is two types. One is low level language and another is high level language. Low level language is two types, first generation and second generation. And our high level language is three types, third gen, fourth gen and fifth generation language. So let's move on our next slide, machine language. So what is machine language? Machine language is the lowest level programming language that's made up of binary digits. So binary digits is 0 and 1, we know that, and it is the only language directly understood by the computer's CPU. No translator like compiler or interpreter is needed. So machine language means binary language. So binary language means 0 and 1. So what are the advantages and disadvantages? So the first advantages of machine language is very fast execution. So since the computer understands it directly, programs run extremely fast, and then no translator needed. So for machine language, no translator needed for machine language, and efficient use of memory. So programs are compact and use less memory, and then direct hardware control. It can give full control over the computer's hardware. So what are the disadvantages? So the disadvantages are very difficult to understand for human. So only 0s and 1s hard for humans to read or write. And second one is error prone. So what is error prone? Error prone means small mistakes are hard to detect and can cause big problems. And it also time consuming. Writing programs in binary takes a lot of time. And fourth one is machine dependent. So machine language is also a machine dependent program, because programs written for one machine usually won't work on another, and finally difficult to debug and maintain. So next, move on assembly language. Assembly language is a low-level programming language that uses mnemonic codes. What is mnemonic code? Mnemonic code means short words. Instead of binary like 0 and 1, it is easier than machine language but still closely related to hardware. So it needs a translator called an assembler to convert it into machine language. So we already mentioned that machine language need no translator, but assembly language needs a translator like assembler. So what are the advantages of assembly language? The first advantages is the easier than machine language. So uses readable mnemonics instead of zeros and ones. So uh, assembly language is faster execution, very fast because it is close to hardware. And the third one is efficient memory use, and the fourth one is better hardware control. So what are the disadvantages of assembly language? The first disadvantages is it is machine dependent and difficult to learn. It needs to time because writing large programs takes a lot of time. Needs assembler because assembler is a translator to translate assembly language, and it is hard to debug and maintain. Then move on difference between machine and assembly language. You can see already that machine language and assembly language. The first the difference is machine language need no translator, but assembly language need a translator named assembler. Okay, so the machine language example is we know already binary language, and assembly language is mnemonic code. So ease of use is very difficult for humans. So machine language is very difficult for humans, but assembly language easier than machine language. Translator not to required. Acha, requires an assembly language. Pause na. So let's move on next slide, mid-level language. So what is mid-level language? A mid-level programming language is a language that combines features of both low-level language and high-level language. The most common example is that C programming. C programming is also a mid-level language. It allows you to write programs that are easy to understand, like high-level language, while still giving control over hardware, like low-level languages. So what are the advantages of mid-level language? So the mid-level language has balanced control, gives access to hardware and also easy syntax. And mid-level language is faster execution. Programs run faster than most high-level languages, and it is portable and structured programming. Structured programming means supports functions and modular design. Modular design also means easy to manage code, and the finally is efficient memory use. So what are the disadvantages of mid-level language? So the first disadvantages is complex for beginners, and it is manual memory management. Programmer must handle memory, and then it is less user friendly and risks of errors. So our next slide is high-level language. A high-level programming language is a language that's easy for humans to read, write, and understand. It uses English-like words and simple syntax instead of hardware level instructions. These languages need a compiler or interpreter to convert the code into machine language. Example: Python, Java, and C++. And this is also example of Python and C++. You can see that. Then these are advantages and disadvantages. Here the advantages of high level language, and these are the disadvantages. So let's move on. Difference between machine and high level language. So firstly, we talk about machine language. So machine language, we know that it is a binary language also, and machine like computer can easily understand that. But in high level language, machine or computer directly cannot understand because it's need a translator. So machine language is very difficult to learn, and high level language is very easy for humans to learn. And translator, I firstly talk about that, not required for machine language, but high level language need a translator like compiler or interpreter. Execution speed for machine language is very fast, but in high level language, it is slower than machine language. Portability, a machine language is dependent, but machine language is independent and portable. And error handling is very difficult for machine language, but easier for high level language. And the development time very time consuming. Machine language is very time consuming, but high level language faster development. So machine language can fully control your computer or your machine, but high level language is limited control. Then our final programming language is fifth generation programming language, 5GL. Fifth generation programming language, 5GL, is a type of language mainly used in artificial intelligence like AI and problem solving systems. Instead of writing step-by-step instructions, the programmer defines the problem or rules, and the computer finds the solution. Example of fifth generation language is Prolog, and LSP is very famous, and it focuses on what to solve rather than how to solve. So what's the features of fifth generation programming languages? The first features is based on logic and constraints. Programs are written using rules, facts, and conditions. Used in AI, applied in expert systems, robotics, and machine learning. No step-by-step algorithm needed. So you don't need any types of algorithm for fifth generation language. You just describe the problem, the system figures out the solution. High level and user friendly. So the fifth generation language is high level and very high level language and closer to human thinking compared to earlier generations. So what are the advantages of fifth generation programming language? So simplifies complex problems, good for solving logical and AI based problems. So no need of coding required. So focus on rules instead of long code, and faster development for AI systems. So it is very useful in expert systems and decision making software. So it is not means that the fifth generation programming language has only advantages. It's also have the disadvantages. So the first disadvantages is limited use, not suitable for general purpose of programming. So this is very slower to execute, maybe slower due to complex problem solving process, and difficult implementation, requires strong understanding of logic and AI concepts. So thanks everyone.